Now, to summarize all of this, let's take a look at my situation versus Corey Jones' situation side by side. When we look at what the defendants did in the Newman Rasha trial versus American Musical Supply, you're going to see nothing but similarities. To begin with, look at the victim. We were both working professionals, both well regarded, both religious, which implies morality. We were both musicians, and at the time we were attacked, we were both in disabled cars. Corey was age 31, I was age 56, is the biggest difference. We also both had in common an aspect that was subject to prejudice and bias and bigotry and discrimination. Corey was black, I am homeless. As far as victim culpability and all of this goes, there was none. Corey did everything right and he did nothing wrong. He did not deserve what happened to him. Similarly, in my case, I did everything right to the best of my ability. I did nothing wrong. I have demonstrated that I went and researched what I did. I took measured steps. I took time. I kept my manager informed. I checked company policies, etc. In terms of the outcome, in both cases, the outcome was catastrophic to the victim. Corey was subject to betrayal, but he didn't know it. He did not know Newman Rasha was a police officer. I was subjected to betrayal by the people I loved and trusted the most, the people I spent my time with in the place I considered my safe place. These are the last people in the world I would have expected to attack me. Corey Jones was subjected to terror briefly. His future was stolen. He ultimately died, and that was described in a court of law as someone, quote, took his life, unquote. With me, the terror has been long-term, 19 months and counting. My future was stolen. My death is still pending. It won't be long. And these people took my life. But also, in my case, my entire life's work, more than half a century, has been completely obliterated, all of it. I have had a total loss of infrastructure, bank accounts in good standing, insurance in good standing, professional relationships, having a phone, uninterrupted sleep, all of that infrastructure is gone. Total loss of possessions and property, including intellectual property. Total financial loss. I have been subjected to trauma, torture, and unlike Corey, whose family came out of this intact but deeply hurt, my family, the concept of my family, was annihilated. All memories of my family are now gone and in the hands of total strangers. In both of our cases, the defendants knew or reasonably should have known that their actions would lead to that catastrophic outcome. In both of our cases, the defendants functioned in an official capacity and they failed to identify themselves. In both of our cases, the defendants engaged in reckless and unprofessional behavior. In both of our cases, the defendants lied frequently and repeatedly. In both of our cases, the defendants staged and covered up after the fact what they had done. In both of our cases, the defendants used unauthorized use of deadly force, totally unnecessary, unjustified. In both of our cases, the defendants engaged in overkill. In both of our cases, the defendants refused to pursue more appropriate and non-catastrophic alternatives that they had available to them. In Newman Rasha's case, he had an abundance of alternatives. If he had chosen even one of them, Corey Jones would still be alive. In my case, American Musical Supply had abundant alternatives, any of which were more appropriate to the circumstances and would be non-catastrophic. They chose to take the one catastrophic alternative that was the least relevant to the actual situation. In both of our cases, discrimination was involved. In the Newman Rasha trial, it was demonstrated that most likely some form of bigotry or prejudice was involved with Corey being black. In my case, of course, the hostility with the Home Office in New Jersey began when they found out I was homeless, and I had asked them for that simple bit of help to save me $25,000 getting a hotel, and they refused. In both of our cases, the defendants were expecting to get a pass due to their job title. Numan Raja was a police officer, so he thought he could get away with murder. The defendants in my case, human resources, co-worker, they thought they could get away with using employment at will as a deadly weapon. In both of our cases, the victim was shot in the back, you might say. Corey, literally, myself, backstabbed. And we were hit as we were attempting to avoid or back away from conflict. Remember, I'd given the backstabber that message that said, I'm not going to initiate contact with you again. That is me trying to avoid conflict. And she immediately went on the attack. She was wrong. In both of our cases, the defendants created a no-win situation for the victim. In Corey's case, the pain and suffering that he experienced was minimal. It was serious and intense, but it was very quick. It was over within 30 seconds. In my case, the pain and suffering is maximal. It has gone on and on and on every second of every minute, of every hour, of every day, of every week, of every month, of every year since they did this, and it still hasn't stopped. Nightmares, daymares, nothing but pain and suffering. Nothing but. My whole life was replaced by pain and suffering on the Ides of March 2024 by American Musical Supply. As far as the duration of that pain and suffering, again, Corey Jones was dead within 30 seconds of Numan Raja's arrival. For me, it has been 19 months and counting. As far as the verdict goes, Numan Raja was found guilty on all counts. It remains to be seen what will happen with American Musical Supply based on this information I've provided on this website. And finally, Numan Raja was sentenced for what he had done to Corey Jones to 25 years in prison. As you can see, what happened to me in the big picture was far, far worse than what happened to Corey Jones. And it remains to be seen what will happen to the people at American Musical Supply who did this to me.